Hey everyone, welcome to Legendary Leaders. I am your host, Katrina Jameson. I'm the founder of Legend Leaders, where we arm female business leaders with the strategies they need to live life on their terms, a legendary life. It's the last Wednesday of March. I know you are probably happy that you're not going to hear any more mental hacks. Maybe not. I've gotten some good feedback, which I've enjoyed. But you're saying things like, okay, Katrina, my gosh, you've made me love Mondays. You've made me work on Fridays. I believe in myself now. I've stopped moving the finish line, so now I have to celebrate myself. What are you doing to me? Right? And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for saying all of those things. I'm proud of you for making those changes because you deserve it. The reality is that all of these mental hacks, including the one that we're going to talk about today, I'm sharing them with you because I don't want you to be like everyone else. I don't want you to live in this world where you don't feel as though you're living your purpose. You're walking through this fog. You're just showing up. Don't just show up, right? I mean, if you have to choose between showing up and not showing up, then show up, right? That's number one. But if you're showing up consistently, then raise the bar. Don't just show up. Enjoy it. Live. Make life amazing. That is what we help you do here at Legend Leaders. We help you live life on your terms. And by you deciding and defining the meanings of different situations, days, ideas, concepts, by you personally defining what they mean to you, you're taking control. And you are getting closer and closer to defining what life on your terms looks like and then living that life. And that's where I want you to be. So today, let's talk about feelings. Now, I know that we've already talked about the mindset, right? And each one of these, in some regard, is some sort of mindset focus, right? And a shift of your mindset. But today I want to talk about feelings in particular. Feelings of, I just don't feel like it. Those kind of feelings. Feelings can dictate how we show up. How we feel about something, right? How we tell ourselves we feel about something is how we show up. What is a feeling? A feeling is just what our brains have processed and decided to name the emotion or the state that we're in. That's what a feeling is. When we say, oh, I don't feel good, that's just our brain's assessment of what's happening in our body. Maybe we don't feel good. Maybe, we have lower back pain, we've got a fever, maybe we got a little bit of a cough, and we've got a cold. Okay, maybe you don't physically feel good. But sometimes we don't physically feel good when we just don't want to do something. When our brains tell us, that's not worth it, or that's too risky, that's not safe to go do that, right? It's not safe to show up in that room and be the new person in there, right? Like we talked about previously. It's not safe. And so when our brain goes through and makes an assessment of how we feel and defines that feeling, then many times subconsciously, without conscious thought, because it's a pattern that we've all gotten into, is we'll say things like, I don't really feel like it. I don't feel good. I don't feel good today. I don't feel like showing up. And so then what do? We don't. We don't show up. I don't know about you, but when I tell myself I don't really feel good, I don't really accomplish anything. That's kind of my way of letting myself off the hook, where it used to be. I don't even allow myself to say I don't feel good anymore. I can say that in the evening after I've done all these other things and do a full real assessment of what my body's doing. But when I'm here, or I'm working with a client, or I'm serving, I'm doing some training of any sort or speaking, I'm feeling good. I am full of energy. I am in control of how I feel. Because feeling is just a state. And so I'm going to show up and give you everything that I have because I'm in control of that. Now, why am I giving you this today? What am I bouncing around and sort of talking about? The ultimate point here is that the majority of the world will tell you, and they'll say things like, I don't feel good. I don't think I'm going to go into work today. How many times have you been tempted to say that? How many times have maybe you actually have said that? How many times have you had peers say that or people on your team tell you that? And they allow, quote unquote, feeling to dictate the actions that they're going to take. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you're going to live life on your terms, If you're going to show up and be successful, because again, you're an achiever or you wouldn't be listening to me. If you're going to show up and you're going to make things happen, then to be able to do that on a consistent basis, which is what success takes, is consistent showing up, right? Consistency. If that's going to be you, you got to say, screw how I feel. You could wake up and be feeling horrible. You could wake up because you got 2 hours of sleep. Maybe something crazy was happening in your neighborhood or your child was awake or whatever. But if you're showing up and you have to serve other people, your team, customers or clients, or even just yourself, you don't get to say, I feel bad, I'm not going to do it. You've got to say, I don't care how I feel. I'm showing up. Because showing up is what's going to get me where I want to go. Showing up is going to help me to live life on my terms. I am in control of how I feel. I decide how I feel, number one, how I show up, number two, and if I'm even going to show up at all, number three. You decide all of those things. The feelings don't. It doesn't matter how you feel. Every successful person that you can point to and look at in this world, they didn't let I don't feel good today, I don't think I'm going to show up. They didn't let that mindset rule them. They didn't. Because just like we talked about last week, I don't know how many days I have on this earth, but I'm going to maximize them. That is what they think. That's how they feel. They feel this mission, this pull, this purpose. So if they let any feeling at all guide them, it's the feeling of a mission and a purpose and a drive that far outweighs the feeling of exhaustion or fear or just the lack of want to. Think about where we would all be in our lives if from the moment we started trying to achieve something, we didn't let the feeling of, I don't know that I want to do this today, get in the way. Where would you be? Where would you be? It's a good question to ask ourselves. And this is not a session to say, let me beat you up because you let your feelings rule you and you let them get in the way. Absolutely not. You know, there is no judgment here. Ever. There's no judgment. But all I want to do is call this to your attention. Because we cannot let other people's rules, other people's ideas, the culture that we live in, the environment that we're in, and even the fear, the lack of want to, the tired, just sort of maybe mental exhaustion. If we're trying to achieve something big, if we're living life on our terms, then we decide. We decide how we show up. We decide. We don't let feelings dictate how we show up. And that is a powerful mind hack. That is a powerful hack that if you can step into who you are, if you can step in and say, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if I've gotten no sleep. It doesn't matter if I didn't work out this morning. It doesn't matter if I didn't have my cup of coffee. It doesn't matter if I meant to change shoes. These are okay, but the other ones look way better with this outfit. That doesn't matter. We don't let those things derail us. The feelings that we have will not derail us. We will focus on our purpose. We will focus on living life on our terms. And we want that so badly that we're not going to let the feelings and the negative emotions and really the way that we watch the world work sometimes, right? We're not going to let that dictate our lives. We're not going to be that way. We're going to show up with intentionality. We're going to show up and dictate how we live our lives. Feelings matter. Feelings can derail you if you do not control them. If you do not put the feeling, the number one priority of whatever it is that you have in your life, if that is not your primary feeling and focus, and all the emotions and the positive emotions and the excitement that you have about whatever that is, that focus is, if that's not the driving feeling that's moving you forward, then any other feeling can get you off track. So let's just not let that happen. Let's live with intentionality. Let's live that legendary life that you're meant to have. And so that's your mind hack. That's your hack for today. Are you letting unproductive feelings guide and determine how you show up? Are you letting them define if you show up at all? Don't. This is your life. This is how you're going to live. You are in control. Take control of it. Get rid of the feelings that are not productive and serving you. Challenge them. Change your state. And what do I mean by that? If you're down in the dumps and you're slumped and you're, oh, I don't really feel like doing this, and sort of the slump and the eye roll. Pick your body up, stand up, move yourself around, take a sip of water, do something to move your body differently, get energy inside of yourself, and show up. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. And you're going to look back and be like, oh, I'm pretty proud of myself. Look, I did that. Didn't feel like doing it, but I did it anyway. I showed up. And you're going to start building what we talked about earlier, right? Momentum. When you have momentum, it's going to be hard to stop you. And that is where you want to be. Don't let feelings dictate how you show up. You decide how you're going to show up. And definitely show up. As always, go and be legendary.